Scottish Cup semi-final weekend. How much are you looking forward to going back to Hampden for this one?
Yeah, look, obviously had a few trips now, and they've all been memorable occasions. Yeah, I guess even when you're not successful, it's still memorable for one reason or another. So, and it's as you said, a cup semi-final. We're getting to that point of the year where things get decided. So, first thing is we're part of it, which is the main thing, and now it's up to us to sort of get to the next stage.
It is that 50-50 split of fans on Sunday as well. How important is it that they create a great atmosphere and make it memorable for the right reasons as well?
Yeah, I think they do. I certainly felt it at the cup final, and yeah, looking for some of the same. There's going to be great colour and a great atmosphere. I'm sure both sets of fans are looking forward to it, and I guess we just got to do our bit and make sure that we put on a good football match that, as you say, is memorable for the right reasons.
Firstly, just your team news in terms of the weekend.
Yeah, from last week, everyone got through unscathed, and Abada, Jota, and Ray have trained all week, so they're available. Forrest is probably another week or so away.
You're obviously on a great run against Rangers and 5 unbeaten. Do you expect them to try and change anything in their approach, either tactically or in terms of team selection, or do these teams know each other so well at this stage that it's quite hard to spring any surprises?
No, look, I think every sort of contest is different. There's different sort of context around it, whether it's league, home or away, whether it's a cup final or a cup semi-final. I think, they're all sort of separate entities in their own right. And, from our perspective, we're expecting them to be strong. That's how we go into every game. We expect the opposition to be at their best, and at their best, they've got some very good individuals that could cause problems, and they've been a very consistent team as well in terms of results. So, like every other game, we go in there and respect the opponent, but ultimately know that it's up to us to play our football, and we know when we've done that this year and last year, we're hard to stop.
Hi, Ange. With the league games having very little visiting fans, how will having that 50-50 split will it change the dynamic at all compared to the matches that have been at Celtic Park and Ibrox this year?
I think it just changes, I guess, the atmosphere of it. There's probably a more consistent noise because irrespective of how the game's going, one set of fans will probably be happy with it. It was a bit weird, I guess, at our place anyway. When when Rangers scored, there was silence. I don't think you'll get, put it this way, I don't think you'll get many quiet moments of reflection. Come semi-final day. So, which is great. Again, that's what we all want to be part of. I think it's what this game's become synonymous for: a fantastic atmosphere, great colour, and like I said, hopefully both teams can live up to it.
For you personally, and you've been involved in so many huge games in your career, but do you still get a wee extra buzz in the lead up to such a huge occasion like these are?
Yeah, I look forward to it because, as I said, they all become memorable for one reason or another. And if you don't enjoy this part of it, or I guess the key thing is that you want to be involved. You always know the kind of alternative to that is to be sitting at home and watching it on telly, and that's never a nice experience. So, to be involved, you always appreciate it, and the effort that goes into it. So, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to see how the team plays and how we sort of play to the occasion. And like I said, hopefully it's a memorable one for us for the right reasons.
Hi, Ange. You obviously pick your starting 11 based on your game plan and what you're hoping you want the team to do. How much does personality come into it in a game like this that's quite chaotic? Are you quite specific about what players you pick that you feel will handle the occasion correctly?
To a certain extent, but I think this group of players now has kind of been through these kind of scenarios fairly often, and I don't think there's ever been a moment I've thought, well, some, players been overawed. I mean, we've given debuts to guys in these kind of games, last year and this year, guys like, even Alistair Johnson this year. So, I think part of us recruiting players and bringing players in is that we kind of hope they have that sort of character and personality that they can cope with it. And, it's relentless at this club because it happens every week. I know that obviously with the big games, people sort of put extra sort of emphasis on them, but the expectation to perform is there every week for us. And even the slightest blip like last week, the players know that, they can't slip below those standards. So, I think what they sort of go through on a weekly basis and daily basis prepares them for games like this. There'd be no one I'd put out there on Sunday who I'd be worried about not being able to handle the occasion.
If I can go back to the semi-final last year, is that a result that still rankles with you at all, or because you've had, a lot of success before that and since then as well, it's one you've been able to put to bed?
You never put those ones to bed, mate, unfortunately. It'd be nice to think that, that's how it works, but I think most people will tell you, or definitely, players or managers, the ones that you aren't successful tend to stick in the memory longer than sometimes the ones where you are successful. But, the fact was that on the day I still thought we performed well. It was a really tight game. We lost an extra time, and, where we were as a team at that point in time, we were sort of really sort of bonded together strongly as a group, and you need to go through these experiences, both good and bad, for growth. And I think we used that as a sort of growing experience for ourselves to say, well, okay, we weren't successful on the day, not for the want of trying. We faced a really good opponent at the time. Rangers were on their way to a European final, so it was a really strong team. And like I said, we lost an extra time, but you use that as an opportunity to develop and learn, and but also use it as a source of inspiration moving forward to try and make sure it doesn't happen again.
And it's just following up on the fact that you've got the three players you mentioned back. How big a boost is that for you? Not just when you're picking your starting team, but obviously the potential for this game to go to extra time and the options it gives you off the bench as well.
Yeah, no, look, it's hugely beneficial for us as a group. I mean, even training this week, has gone up a level because, we've got three more quality players who've joined in training, and, all three boys have missed a bit recently. They're sort of itching to get involved as well. So, I think it certainly helps, as you said, not just with the starting 11, but the ability to then sort of, go to the bench and impact the game. So, really pleased that, I've obviously got training to go tomorrow, and they need to get through that. But, they've had a strong week of training, and, pleased that they're available.
Yeah, just going back to the last league game against Rangers, you mentioned, I think yourself, that, there were a few errors from everybody on the park, but the quality wasn't maybe as high as the excitement levels. Is that something to do with maybe how much is at stake, and is that something maybe your players can learn from for this one at all?
Yeah, look, it is, I guess, that like I said, what's at stake, and it's very hard to eliminate that because human emotions inevitably will take over in those kind of situations. But what we've tried to sort of emphasise is that we need to stay clear-headed and focused on what's important to us, and what's important to us is to make sure that we're controlling the game the way we want to, and play the game on our terms. And you can only do that if you can sort of make sure that you're not influenced by sort of other factors. But at the same time, there's going to be passion, there's going to be anxiety, there's going to be nervousness in both camps during the game, and it's about trying to minimise the impact that has on the performance.
Hi Ange, Callum McGregor was speaking there, saying that he feels that the unbeaten run that Celtic are on against Rangers gives the players a bit of confidence. Do you feel like that as a manager going into this one?
Yeah, like I said before, I don't know, I just treat these things as just separate entities. I just think, if you fall into the trap of just thinking that, there's some sort of advantage you have because of, previous results, I think, like I said, that's where you can maybe lose, clarity around what's important. every game is different, and particularly when you're talking about cup games, semi-finals when everything's at stake on that day, and a spot in the finals, the reward. I just don't think previous form, or whether that was last week or in other games, really comes into it. I mean, you don't want to be sort of going to these games not having won for a while, for sure, whether that's against a direct opponent or in previous weeks. But I think from our perspective, we've been in good form for a long time, and the performances have been consistent for a long time, and we just want to make sure that we continue that.
And you feel like you're going into the game with an extra bit of fire after the result last week that, when you look over the course of the season, could be considered a blip, drawing with Motherwell?
No, as I said after the game, I don't think we need that sort of motivation. I mean, it's like I said after the game, it's a good learning opportunity for us. We don't, you're not going to be winning every game. That sort of doesn't exist anywhere in the world where you win every game of football. There's always going to be times where the result doesn't come. But we've been really good at sort of trying to improve and trying to get better, even while winning games of football, which is not easy. But when a moment like last week comes where things don't go our way and we see things that we could have done better, we just use that as another opportunity to learn. But you don't need any extra motivation, or you shouldn't wait for something to hurt you to be then, thinking I'm going to be at my best. You should be at your best all the time.
Hi, Ange. It's been a long season. And I think coming into every one of these derby matches so far, there's always been something on the go, whether it's injuries in and out, transfers in and out, heavy fixture congestion, international breaks, etc. Coming into this match, is this maybe one of the better weeks you've had of preparation coming into a match with no distractions or external influences?
Look, I mean, it's to a certain extent. I think we try and sort of, prepare, the same sort of every week. I think once you allow things like that to sort of disrupt what you do on a daily basis, then again, you kind of, there's no such thing as a perfect week in anything you do. Again, we strive to be the best we can be in all our approaches, but there's always going to be something along the way that is going to take your mind maybe off what's important. The key to that is if you stay consistent, then, whether it's been a good week of preparation or not a good or a disruptive week, ultimately what we know is we've got to be ready on Sunday. That's it. No excuses, no reasons why we shouldn't be. And, that's been our mindset for every game we've played this year.
As a fan, it's been really enjoyable to watch the progression of the team this season. Like I mentioned already, a lot of new faces and a lot of people coming in. And like you said yourself, obviously you've not been shy of debuting people in this fixture. And again, referencing what you've said already, you did say this is everyone in the squad. Obviously, you understand that their character, and you wouldn't hesitate to put them in. Is this a game where it's about getting the best team out available, or is it the best team for the fixture? If I've made that clear, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, look, I take a sort of consistent approach to that, in that, the team I put out there that's going to start is the team I think gives us the best chance of performing at the levels we want to, with the full knowledge that, we can change that, when we have the quality of players we do that don't start. So, with all these things, it's, again, what I've really tried to be with the lads is really consistent every week. It's not just about, performances in previous weeks. It's not just about training performance. It's, all these factors are into it. And then, my thoughts going into a game is I select, a starting lineup that I think is going to, like I said, is going to give us the best chance to perform at the levels we need to against the, whatever the opponent is. And like I said, always with the knowledge that we can change that if required. So, I guess to put it the best way is I'm going to put out the team that I think gives us the best chance of success.